Why don't you reach for that computer that's, well, within reach and share something with us? Your thoughts, your complaints, your comments on today's show. You can text them to us to the number on your screen, 208-321-5614. Also, include your name and the hashtag #the208 so we can share yours at the end of the show. If not, maybe we'll share them another day. Primary versus a caucus. Steve says the Moon GOP Central Committee doesn't want the average GOP voters to vote on anything. If you, by average, you mean moderate, well, you might be right. This one, how can we be sure that the results of the caucus reflect the preference of the participants and there is no fraud, asked Rhonda. That's a very good question. Who oversees this kind of stuff? Another good question. As a Democrat, I say to caucuses, I'd rather have an election than spend hours at a caucus, says Lorene in Fruitland. Watch your step in Meridian, new Lego store. If you've done it, you know. We'll see you tomorrow. All right, let's get right to your comments today. I got a couple on the EMS problem. How about this one? Well, let's start with the student ID problem. It proves, as usual, that the GOP legislators don't have the intelligence to change Idaho case law in a correct and clear manner. Sadly, this is nothing new to Idaho politics, says Steve. And then this one on the EMS. People need to know the volunteers that man the ambulances in Custer County, Stanley, Chalice, Mackey. When you're at Redfish Lake, it's volunteers that respond, and maybe a lawmaker needs to be the one that needs this service to change it. Idaho's not the place to spread ghost myths. We already have enough people believing things that are not true. The 208 should know better, says David from Caldwell. Maybe you should. First off, let me say thank you very much for your response and reaction to today's stories about immigration reform here in Idaho. So many comments, there's no way we could get to them all, but let's get to a couple before we wrap up today's show. Like this one here from Teresa in Boise. What visa category do sheep herders come with? Could the dairy workers use the same visa avenue? Well, the whole point is making this year-round, because right now it's just seasonal, which sheep herders generally are, kind of in the mountains during the summer. It's shameful that both nationally and within our state, legislature just wants to kick the immigration reform can down the road year after year. Insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. Demand our legislature stop the insanity, says Lori. Finally, I'm guessing many of these Idaho farmers and ranchers are still voting Republican, the same party who voted against this legislation. We'll get to more later this week. The stories we shared yesterday prompted a lot of feedback from you, our viewers, like this one from Carmen. We need to take better care of our farm workers. I would happily pay more for milk and produce if it meant the money would help ensure basic human rights, not line some CEO's pockets. Thanks for covering this, she said. To solve the problem, Kelly suggests putting 3 dairy farmers, 3 restaurant owners, and 3 dirt farmers in a room for 5 days, and they would come up with a U.S. policy that would work. No way the Republicans and Democrats solve this, she says. And there was this question from Steve. So if the House has twice passed the Farm Workforce Modernization Act bill, why hasn't the Senate put it up for a vote? And Anna, she asked the same thing. Why haven't Crapo and Risch helped to get Simpson's bill passed in the Senate? Which brings us back to Congressman Simpson interview we just showed you. Okay. We got a lot of comments and questions that we didn't have a chance to share or answer yesterday. So we're going to take on some of those right now. Some of those you're going to have to help us with here, Andrew. Dan in Boise texted in, one season without these farm workers, and I'll bet some politicians would sing a different song. Chris in Meridian added to the conversation, saying, I grew up in Emmett and am well aware of how valuable they are in bringing food to our communities. I am always frustrated by people's prejudices against them, as in the migrant farm workers, and perplexed by our local politicians' inability or unwillingness to fix the immigration and workforce issues. John pointed out, it isn't just an ag job that rely on foreign-born workers. American workers don't show up in food manufacturing and others related to agriculture. I mean, have you checked out the kitchen of your favorite local restaurant lately? George adds, I'll hand this one over to you, Andrew, because this is a question you might have to deal with. Simpson cannot pass a law that violates existing law. You cannot make illegals documented citizens. And Mike is saying that's the federal law. George is saying that.
Hey, I got bad news for you, Mike. That's the job of a federal lawmaker, is to create new laws. And
one more here. Rhonda Starr says she works in a food bank where many of the workers come in for food and their families. She says they don't make enough money to buy food and they stay in shelters. She tells the story of one family who was only offered a beat-up trailer to live, they was offered this by a farmer, by the way. And this trailer had no water or no electricity. So the question to you, Andrew, would conditions like this be allowed under this updated H-2A program?
Yeah.
You know, we get this question a lot when we talk about abortion, like this one from Gordon says, Brian, where do the privacy laws come in the abortion issue? I guess those who write the laws and law enforcement side don't really look at, well, privacy when it comes to anybody who might be breaking the law. They kind of look past that at times. Okay, Idaho, time to legalize marijuana so we can allocate some of that $3 million a week to our local EMS services. Other areas that need funding, schools, teachers, separate bathrooms, et cetera. We the people. Also, our government should stay out of our personal health care. HIPAA, anyone? Again, the same comment, but if somebody's breaking the law, HIPAA doesn't really apply in all of those cases either. I want to end this one today, on this comment here because it kind of sums up why we do what we do. And I want to thank you for this, Chrissy. Thank you again. The 208 helps remember why I care, which is kind of what we're trying to do here. Bring to light some things that you should care about if you didn't already, and remind you that, well, yeah, you probably should. We'll see you back here tomorrow.